Hey everyone, before we get started on today's episode, I have a question. Do you have a dream or a goal of making a career out of your art? Well, there's a saying, a goal without a plan is actually nothing more than a wish. So I've got good news because applications are now open for my 6-month high-touch mentorship program called Studio Elite. And Studio Elite gives you that plan. It gives you the roadmap, it gives you the skills, and it gives you the community to get you to your goals faster. And I keep it intentionally small so that every artist gets personalized coaching, and the results have been astonishing. Just in the last year, one artist sold over 20 paintings in 1 month. Another artist had sold almost $100,000 in art in 1 year. One started an entire home goods line. One got a $10,000 commission, and many of them finally got accepted to exclusive art fairs, exhibitions, and galleries. So if this sounds like something that is on your bucket list, then I would say let's go for it. And if you're ready to make the big moves, I'd love to work with you in Studio Elite. You can find the application in the link in the show notes. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Honest Art Podcast. I've got a guest today that I'm so excited to share with you. Her name is Cheri Carandanis, and I first met Cheri at the beginning of this year. I'm lucky enough to have met Cheri at the beginning of this year because Cheri is a member of my program, Studio Elite. And after I heard her story of how art has impacted her life, I knew that I wanted the world to hear her story because it's so profound. And Cheri is just such an incredible human. I know you're going to really enjoy this conversation. So please welcome Cheri.
Thank you, Jodie. Thank you. I have to admit that we're having a moment here because this, you know the story, but who would have ever known I'd have been on your podcast talking to you after everything that's happened.
Your whole journey, just, my gosh, Cheri, even just since January or February, I guess it was first week of February, even just since then, my mind is blown. The things that you have done, the way your art has evolved, the way you are just standing in who you are, it's just the most...
Isn't it the Buddhists that say, when the student is ready, the teacher appears?
Yes.
And I think this student was ready, and when you appeared as a mentor, it's like you lit a rocket fire under me. So I'm so grateful.
Well, thank you. That's kind of you to say, but that rocket was already on the platform. It just needed a little.
It was just kind of get ready to go.
That's right. Well, Cheri, just so that everybody knows, Cheri primarily paints in abstract expressionism, and you're pretty new to a pretty new painter. You've been an artist your whole life, but you're a pretty new painter. But Cheri, what did you do before you picked up a paintbrush?
I had a 25-year-long career as a nurse. And a lot of that career was spent in the military. And I mean, it feels like a different life, but I was in the Air Force during 9/11. So it was a long time ago, but during 9/11. And so I would be deployed as a critical care flight nurse. And I loved it. It was the honor of my life to serve our troops in that way. And I learned so much. But after that, I did get married to my husband, John, and we wanted to have children, and I just couldn't imagine deploying with babies at home. I watched so many of my friends have to do it, and it just seemed heartbreaking and too hard for something that I would want to do. So I did find an opportunity to separate from the military, and I fell into hospice work for the next 15 or so years, and I loved it. And I think I was just burnt out of the adrenaline, ICU flight. Loved it, but it was a lot. And so hospice work was a gift. It was a gift for me to sit in those sacred times with people as they transitioned. it's really, I feel like it was more of a gift to me than I could have ever offered them or their
Yeah.
families.
I
So
remember
that
when you
presence.
told me that story, Cherie, of first of all, 9/11, and then it wasn't it because of 9/11 that you decided. Is that right? I don't want to
That I
if I'm
decided.
get that you decided to go into to join the military, or am I
Yeah,
wrong about
because
that?
I felt drawn to people who were nearing the end of their life. There was, a lot of nurses don't want to, wouldn't choose that patient, but I did. And even in the ICU in peacetime, I would be drawn to these people at the end of life. And I just felt like there was such an honoring in recognizing as a nurse and as a medical staff when the person is trying to die and honoring that and not trying to throw science at them
Right.
and save them. And so it really taught me something about presence, which I was not familiar with at all. And so
Wow.
that was an amazing career. And I got my master's degree in nursing leadership. And so I became a nurse manager for hospice nurses, which was so amazing that I got, like, my patients became the nurses. And so I could pour into them and move rocks for them and carry water for them. And it was so great to be able to serve them in that way so that they could go out and take care of our patients. And then in 2019, I suffered two separate brain injuries, 6 months apart.
Before we talk about the brain injuries, what I want to just make sure everyone really hears so clearly is just how meaningful and powerful nursing is to you or was to you, and
So
how much you identified.
it was who I was. It was my identity.
Yeah.
Everybody, if they have a nurse in the family or a friend that's a nurse, you're the nurse. You're my friend Cheri, and you're a nurse. And so take
Yes.
a look at this rash, and I'm like, okay. But yeah, I was that person, and I was happy to be because it was my calling.
Yeah.
It's what I was meant to do. Um, and so it really was who I was, which was great at the moment, but it did not serve me well afterwards because I had to learn that it's not who I was. It's a part of who I was. It's
Right.
not
Right.
everything
Right.
because
Well, so tell people what. Go ahead and tell people the story of what happened with your.
so as the result of a fall and then a car accident, which was just crazy that those two things happened so close together within 6 months of each other. I had a traumatic brain injury, and I, I really honestly did think, okay, I'll rehab for a while and I'll be back and you know move on with life as it was, and that's not what happened at all. I really did have a lot of deficits. After the car accident, I sounded like a person with a stroke in my speech. I wasn't able to walk very well. We had to use a lot of mobility aids, canes and walkers, and leaning on my sons and my husband when we would be out. But more than that, more than the physical, it was the cognitive hit that I took, and I was not able to think the way I used to think. I couldn't focus. I couldn't read for a couple of years. I couldn't read a book and remember what I read, and my eyes were unteamed from the head injury, and so just looking at things was difficult. Um,
Wow.
so my brain essentially, I had a left frontal and then temporal and then right cerebellar. So my brain kind of went like this in the car accident, and so nurses love living in the left side of their brain. We're thinkers, we're planners, very type A, and I was very happy there. And so when
Yes.
the left side got damaged, I was lost. I was
Right.
lost.
Yeah.
It took me about a year. So in 2020, my nursing license came due to um, renew, and long story short, I had to make a very hard decision to retire my nursing license because I couldn't trust my brain anymore. And obviously you want to keep patients safe. And
right.
I just couldn't trust it.
Yeah.
So I had to retire it, and I fell into a very deep depression because I couldn't figure out how to mourn myself while I was still alive. Like, I'm still alive and my family's still with me, and I still had a beautiful life, but I wasn't me anymore.
Yeah.
And so trying to navigate that was
unthinkable. You just said, let me just you had to learn how to mourn yourself while you were still alive. And that, of course, you fell into a depression. Who knows? We don't learn how to navigate this stuff ever, right? And so you having to do this, it's just, and to give up such a part of your identity, how devastating that must have been. And was it not your neurologist that suggested
my neurologist and my psychologist. So I was seeing so many people part of the brain injury rehab team, and they both were like, Cheri, you lived in the left side of your brain, and the left side of your brain is damaged. So you've got to learn to get over into the right side so that we could build some pathways. And I thought, okay, well, what does that mean? Like, give me your prescription and I will follow it. And they said, okay, well, that means creativity, mindfulness, presence. And I was like, what? No, I don't know how to do that. No, I don't like crafts. I don't like drawing. I never did any of that. I did not do a scrapbook page for either of my boys ever. I don't do that. And so they were like, well, just get a coloring book, like get a mandala coloring book and just color. And so I did and hated it.
Okay. I love this. I love this part of the story because can I tell it the way you told me originally?
Of course.
You may not remember how you told it to me originally.
I probably don't.
Well, originally, what I remember, I may have made it up. I don't know, but it's a good story.
Let's just make it up.
I thought what you said was when they gave you a coloring book after you had this distinguished career as a nurse, that they gave you this coloring book. It's like, here you go. And you're like, fuck you.
Yes. Yes. Yes,
that was how I remember. Like, you were so mad that this is what your life had become.
I was so offended. Like, I am a master's level prepared nurse. I fought for our military. I'm raising children. Like, really?
You're giving me a coloring book?
Yeah. Oh, I was like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it because I was desperate. I'm like, maybe they know something. Maybe there's something to this. I don't know. So I started coloring, and every cell in my body was revolting and saying, no, this is not what you're going to do. And so I thought, well, what do they know? They don't know me. And so I think I just kept hanging on to the hope that maybe the doctors did know something about left and right brain. And so I started watching YouTube videos on with just art. And it was starting with like people at their kitchen table painting little landscapes or animals. And I mean, it was beautiful art, but I just couldn't imagine myself doing that. Yeah. And then I started finding artists that were painting on large canvases. And this is where this moment comes in, is because I didn't realize until recently when you did your 100th episode that it was you that I was watching.
That's the craziest story.
It's crazy because when I first met you, like in person, and I mean, I had been following you and I listened to your podcast, I've been watching your videos, but your platform looked different back then. And I was fresh off a brain injury, so everything looked different to me. Yeah. But when I went back, when you did your 100th episode and you said, take a look back at where I started, and so this is 2020 that I would have been watching these. I went back and it's like all of a sudden the pieces starting coming together, like, oh my gosh, that was Jodie. that I was watching, and you were painting on bigger canvases, and just your energy that you put into that canvas, and the way you talked, I was like, I want to be her friend. I want to paint like that. And so I thought, well, maybe it's because it's bigger. Maybe I just need to be freer. Like, I can't color inside the lines. I'm not good at coloring inside the lines. And so my dad had just bought a big screen TV. And so I ran down to his house and I cut out a side of the cardboard. And I brought it home, and I brought my kids' tempera paints from school and just started painting on it. And something just, yes, I love this, because it was big, it was messy, it was tactile, and I could make big motions. Yeah. And so I was like, maybe this is it. And my sweet husband, I think it was...
Okay, can we just tell everybody? So in Studio Elite, we meet once a week, and Cheri's husband is like our mascot. I mean, he's just, we all want to know how John's doing. John is always cheering us on.
Yes.
First of all, it's just an incredible group of artists, but such deep souls. But we just get such a kick out of John.
Oh, he is our greatest cheerleader. He really is. And
anyway,
he's my greatest.
So what was it you were saying? How did he support you?
So I said, I think, because he saw the cardboard painting, he goes, wow. He goes, I didn't know you could do art. And I said, well, I know it looks like crap, but it feels good. Like, there's something about it. And he's like, all right, let's go to Michael's. So he buys the biggest canvases available. And he's like, you order whatever you need on Amazon. And so we're ordering paints and brushes. And his father taught for 30 years. He was an art teacher in Portland for high school art. And so he had tons of supplies that he's like, well, you can have all of my brushes. And I thought, oh my gosh, okay. So I just started playing on the canvas, and it was just canvas after canvas of just playing. And I started to realize that it was when I was at the canvas that I forgot I had a brain injury. Oh. It was like my vestibular issues, the tinnitus in my ears, the headaches, the tension in my neck and back. It's like it went away. And so after months of just playing on this canvas, and it was truly just, I didn't care, if people liked it. It looked not good, but the way I felt was so valuable to me. And because even at that point, like after a year or so of doing that, my dreams used to be a place that I didn't have brain injury. But at that point, even in my dreams, I was starting to have the symptoms of brain injury, which I thought was a huge loss for me, because at least there I was well.
Well, what I think is so remarkable about all of these things, about how these pieces have fit together over the course of a very long time. I mean, just the fact that your father-in-law was an artist, not something you even considered, but the fact that when it was time, you had someone there to support that. You know?
Yes.
The fact that you, and all of this also, it goes back to like trusting your gut, also is trusting your intuition, trusting what is right for you. And you knew coloring books were not going to be right for you.
I might not have known it, but I felt it.
Yes.
I couldn't understand it, but my body told me. And that was also something that was new to me. After brain injury, I felt my body. Whereas I think before, because I was so capable, I wasn't in my body a lot. I was up here all the time, overthinking.
So for those of you who are listening to this, she's pointing to her forehead and to her other sides of her forehead, saying she was up in her head.
Yes, I was in my head and I was not in my body. And so with brain injury and trying to heal, I started looking to a lot of alternative therapies. And so with those alternative therapies, they teach you about mindfulness. They teach you about sitting in your body. They teach you about meditation. And these were all things that were so foreign to me. I didn't know anything about that stuff. And so to learn how to do that is when, I think that's when I knew we always have intuition. Like I knew that in my head, but to experience my intuition and to start developing a relationship with it, because I learned that I have to have a relationship with it in order to trust it.
Yes.
And so now it's my go-to. Like I don't even question if I feel something in my body or if I just have a reaction energetically to something.
Yeah.
There's no judgment.
Let me just go back to this. I think this is such a moment to remember. You can't have a relationship with your intuition until you recognize that you have it. Or how did you say that? You can't
trust it.
You can't trust it unless you have a relationship with it.
Yeah.
Mic drop. We cannot trust our intuition unless we have a relationship with it.
It's just like any other relationship, right? And that takes time, and that takes intention of listening and being in your body. And I never knew the value in being in our bodies, like truly being present in our bodies. I never valued it. I never knew about it. It's not taught, you know?
Yeah.
And so once I started learning, there's a voice in there. There's something in there that's telling me things that I am so unfamiliar with. And that's, I think, where I was born again. Because I never, like I said, I was never creative with like art, like crafts and things. But there was something in me that was like having to come out on canvases. And it never, sometimes I'll do like an abstract figurative or even abstract landscape, but it's always abstract. And I feel it more than I see it.
Yes. That's how I approach it as well. And for those of you, I would love for you to check out Cheri's work. You can see it on Instagram for sure.
Yes.
But you'll see what we're talking about because it is so expressive, and you can tell that there's nothing about your work that feels contrived at all. It's such a strong, powerful representation of you and your art, which has been amazing to witness. When you applied to Studio Elite in January, when I saw your art, I already knew this girl's got something for sure. And then to see you trusting yourself more and more within the work, and not just in the work. I mean, listening to the girl. I mean, the things that you've done in 4 months or something like that.
I feel like it's not things I've done. It's like things that are happening because of the small things that we're learning to do. It's just these small little tweaks. Like, Cheri, get on Instagram. I'm like, no, I don't like Instagram. You're like, no, you have to get on Instagram. You have to start posting. And just these small things like, hey, send an email here or work on your artist statement. Like, that's such a basic thing. Like, okay, work on your artist statement. But when I really worked on it, and you rejected many drafts of it, and we're like, nope, that's not you. That sounds like everybody else. I need you. And when I finally got to the draft that was like, you were like, that's you. It helped me see, that's me. That's me. It's raw. It's edgy. It's not put together and done. I'm very undone. And I love being undone, but I like to present myself as done.
Right. Well, but I think the clearer you've become, because I think to the dismay oftentimes of the artist that joins Studio Elite, the first month is really doing some introspective work, right? Because we do have to get to the artist statement, but it affects the art completely. So can you talk a little bit about what that experience was like and how it did come through? Maybe it's not in your art, maybe it's just in how you show up, or tell us a little bit about how that's changed, because I've seen it in a very short time.
So like you said, it's like we had to do mindset work. We had to do a letter to money. That was powerful for me. That was really powerful because I never even thought about it. It's just not something that I think about. A lot of introspection that first month. And I was resistant. I'm like, when are we going to paint? Like, teach me the mother color, man. Like, come on. And you're like, okay, this week we're going to think about this. And, I was like, and so at the same time, and I'm telling you, things just, if you're open and you're just searching for like, okay, universe, God, what do you want from me? Like, what am I supposed to learn? And God drops this Instagram video with this woman talking about a mind movie. And I was like, a mind movie? And so she briefly explained how she made this little mind movie, and it's a few minutes long, and she watches it every morning. And it's her manifestations, like what she wants in her life. And a lot of it is like wealth or success or happiness or relationship. But I was like, I'm going to do that. For some reason, it resonated with me to be able to watch a little snip of something to remind myself the direction I want to go in. And what do I need to do? Something small today to move in that direction. And I think that's what made the hugest difference, was this little direction move. And so for me, my mind movie was more, it did have a lot of, it does have like success benchmarks that I'd like to reach. But it was more about how do I want to feel in my life.
Yes.
And I couldn't travel for a long time because of my brain injury. It was just too difficult when we tried to travel. But the past year, I feel like I've made such major strides in rehabbing the brain and being able to exercise again and be able to walk more than a few blocks. All of a sudden, travel. I literally showed you guys the mind movie, and then my husband wins this trip through work, and we went to Cannes, France, and that was amazing.
I feel like since you did the mind movie, you haven't stopped traveling.
No, I have not been home for more than 10 days in a row since the mind movie.
Wow.
10 days in a row, that's it.
Yeah.
And I've been to France, Greece, then I went to Alabama and California, and now here I am in Hawaii. And these are all unplanned. We were in the Caribbean. Like, these aren't things that I've been like 2 years planning, like this year is going to be my year. I wouldn't have known that I'd be even able to do this. But it's like, nope, it's time. And now I'm saying yes. My brother just asked me literally last week to come on this trip that I'm on.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask
I might have overthought that.
I know. You're going to have to put stay home more in your mind maybe. So help me understand this and help the listeners, the viewers understand this. You went from being a nurse to having this brain injury to picking up paints, a brush, cardboard. I know you don't, you moved on to canvas.
Yes.
And am I recalling correctly that you went back in for a scan and your doctors were surprised? Is that right?
Yeah. He said, "What have you been doing?" And so I was showing him pictures of my art. Like, I thought he meant, what are you doing with your time? And I was like, well, I've been playing around with painting. And he's like, oh, really? He's like, tell me about that. And he goes, so he was listening. I was like, I like really big canvases and I like being messy. And he's like, okay. And so he kind of was probing me about my process. Like, are there favorite colors? And so I just kind of told him. And he said, Cheri, inadvertently, you've been healing your brain. And I said, well, I know I feel good, but how? Like, scientifically, how was I doing that? He said, because you chose a substrate of a large canvas. You were rehabbing your right arm. The physicality of painting on a large canvas and the balance it took to stand in front of a canvas for more than a few minutes.
Yeah.
It was just all firing to connect the right inside. He goes, do you remember at the beginning of brain injury, I couldn't make a decision to save my life. John had to pick out what I was going to wear. If we went to a restaurant, he chose what I ate because I just couldn't make a decision.
Yeah.
And he said, just in you picking a paint color, because that's practicing decision making. And I'm thinking, I don't really pick paint colors, but I didn't want to go down that road with him. Yeah. I didn't think he'd understand because he's a doctor and he's sciencey. I was like, I feel the colors.
I think that's incredible. I mean, I even wonder if it's helping you with your art because you can't overthink like so many of us can do.
It's true.
Me. You know, you have to feel into it more.
And that's why I feel like there's such there's this blessing in being this rookie, like especially in our Studio Elite group. I came in, I was like, oh my God, I'm the rookie. Like I've only been painting like 5 years, and you know, these amazing artists. But I think there's a gift in that because I'm naive. I don't know all the things.
Yes.
And I just know what I feel. Like I know what I can react to, what feels right and what doesn't feel right. And I think that is, you know, John and I, we were in Greece, and I said, John, I know I never thought I'd get to this place, but I'm so grateful for brain injury. I would hope that it would happen, I'm so glad it happened. Like, as painful as it was and how much it took from me, I'm so grateful for it because I don't think I'd be who I am today without it. I would still be, you know, in the rat race and overthinking everything and being anxious and, you know, and brain injury has taught me so much about myself and not really caring, because that's the other thing is your filter kind of goes away.
Yeah. And
I was so guarded with my words and my presentation, and now I care less.
Now you're a motherfucking artist.
Like, take me or leave me.
Okay,
but I am a lot of fun. So
you are so much fun. You are so much fun. So help us take us from what made you take your art from a source of healing for yourself, rehabilitation for yourself, to wanting to take it into an art business, like more of a career. I mean, that's why you're in Studio Elite. So what was there something that happened that you're like, you know what? I might be able to do this.
So 2023 in the summer, so 2 summers ago, John and, you know, friends, a couple of close friends were like, you know, maybe you should start selling this. And I think John was saying that because there were a lot of canvases laying around the house. And they weren't little canvases, they were giant canvases. He's like, you know, maybe people would want to buy it. And I thought, the first thought I had is, who would want to buy my therapy? Who would pay money for that? Like, that's insane to think that. And he's like, I don't know, maybe, you know, maybe just put it out there. Like, you know, and I thought, no. And so then I started having a conversation with my dad. And he's like, well, you know, what is it going to take? I said, what it's going to take is for me to be better at painting. Like, I need to take some classes. It needs to be more refined. It can't just be me vomiting on a canvas with my emotions and saying, here, buy it. There just needs to be some refinement. So I need to learn. And he's like, then do that. And so I started a class, you know, a little painting class. And he goes, what else do you need? And I said, I feel like I need like a studio, like a place to paint that's mine, that's not like shared with a den or whatever. And he's like, all right. And my dad was a doer. He was a fixer. He came over in September of 2023 and he hung up pegboard because I wanted the pegboard system so I could put big canvases and move them around. He hung studio lights. I mean, he got the right bulbs so that it was like daylight.
Oh, I love it.
We had so much fun. We had so much fun. And so he's like, I think you should just start looking into like, what does it take to start a business? And so I was like, all right, Dad. And so I was kind of just playing with the idea. And so I came up with like a logo. And anyways, one weekend, him and my mom, they loved going RV trip. And he loves fishing. And so they were on this trip. And I texted him on Sunday night of their trip. And I said, okay, here's my logo. And he hearted it. And then I talked to him that night. He's like, girl, you're going to do this. You're going to do this. You got everything you need. It's going to happen. He goes, and I think people will buy your paintings. Even though he was the one that would come into my studio and be like, I don't know if that blue's quite right. And I'm like, Dad, you're colorblind. Like he's literally colorblind.
Okay, that's so funny.
But you know, that's how he was a part of it.
Okay, guys, real quick, while I've got you, I've got to tell you about something really, really exciting, and that is the Honest Art Society. The Honest Art Society is my membership group where I'm able to finally offer artists all of the things that you've been asking for. So you get monthly training, you get coaching calls, you get monthly art critiques, there are guest speakers, there is studio hour where we'll paint together, and also you get exclusive discounts and offers, and you get to hear about things that happen first. All for only $47 a month. So I hope you will join me in this group with amazing artists as well. So go to the link in the show notes to find out more about the Honest Art Society. But sometimes we just do need that one person to believe in us. And I know you are lucky to have more than one.
Yes. But he was the doer. Like, he built the thing. John couldn't have done that. And I couldn't have done that. And so he was that person that God was like, well, your dad's a fixer and a handy person. And so, like I said, Sunday I sent him the thing. Monday, and this story goes dark so fast. Monday, he died. He was fishing in Washington Coast, and a sneaker wave killed him. And so, obviously, we're devastated. And there is a miraculous moment in that story of losing my dad. I was devastated. My mom, we were all just devastated because my dad was such a presence in our life and in our family. And he was lost out to sea for at least 6 hours. And the Coast Guard was out looking for him. Everybody was trying to find him. And they weren't finding him. And so they said, many times when things like this happen, they're just lost to sea. And I just couldn't accept that. I was like, okay, God, if if he's dead and you've taken him from us, I think I can wrap my head around that and accept that. But I have to say goodbye to him. I just need one more time, one more moment with him. And anyways, another long story short, my mother was waiting for me to arrive at the coast, and it took me like 3 hours to get there. So she was waiting with the police officer. And she just felt this pull in her heart to go back to the beach. She goes, I just felt like he was calling to me. And so she runs back down to the beach, and the police officer's following her. And she looks out and she sees my dad, and she thinks he's swimming. And she thought, oh my God, he survived. He survived. This is crazy. And as his body got closer to the shore, she stood on the beach, and she was like, there he is, there he is. And so she was telling the police, because she ran in to go help him. And he's like, no, it's too rough. It's dangerous. So he pulls her out. The police officer pulls my mom out. Says, stay on the beach. I'll go help him. And so when she went back onto the beach to look and to try to help point out where my dad was, she saw 2 sea lions, one by each arm, swimming him into the beach. And they just pushed his body into the surf. Right
I
to my mom.
have chills everywhere.
I mean,
unbelievable.
I still think about that story. I think, gosh, that didn't have to happen. I mean, he could have been lost to sea, but I asked God. I was just like, please. And so we were able to bury him with full military honors, and I got to say goodbye to him and thank you and have my conversation with him. And I mean, it was so traumatic,
yes.
But so beautiful
Yeah.
too. And so obviously we grieved, and I didn't grieve. I mean, I'm still grieving, obviously, but for about a month, I just was lost. I thought, okay, God, brain injury, my dad died. Like, really? Like, I don't know how much more I can take.
Right.
And I don't know. I think I was going through my dad's texts again, and I was just, remembering him. And I saw his heart on my logo. And I was like, it's go time.
There you go.
It's time to go. So that was in 2023. Yeah. And then I just started taking little steps to building an art business, and people started buying my art and commissioning art, which was a whole new thing for me, which I really enjoy. So it just kind of grew legs, but I just did the little things, I just did the things you have to do, and really being courageous.
Yes.
And another thing brain injury taught me was how to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because you're just never comfortable anymore in your body, because your brain's not talking to your body.
Right.
And so discomfort is familiar to me. And so now stepping out into discomfort feels okay to me, because I know it'll be okay. It'll be okay.
Well, you have certainly done a lot of that in Studio Elite. There's so many things that, because it is a short program, relatively speaking, to most of our art careers, is 6 months. So we go hard for 6 months to, but a lot of that is getting uncomfortable. It's technology, uncomfortable. Right? For some of us, it's the bane of our existence. But having people that either are part of Studio Elite, or we can point to say that, go there, do this,
Yes.
it can make all the difference. What do you feel like are your biggest takeaways from Studio Elite so far? I know we still got a little time, but
I think the thing that comes first to my mind is community. Having people that are in the arena with me and not just talking at me from the sidelines, but that are in there. And our group is just, I feel like it's been handpicked by God and such special, special souls. And we connected so quickly. And you being our leader, I think what people might not get from just reading about Studio Elite or listening to someone talk about it is your generosity, that you truly give all of yourself to us. And I don't feel like you have all these other parts of your business going on. Like, I feel like you're just here for us. And so your generosity of not just your knowledge and your experience, but your heart. I mean, how many times are tears flowing, and it's authentic, and as you share in our journey. And so that's huge. And I don't think there's a price tag on that. Like, you can't shop for that. That's something that you offer that is just Jodie King. The other thing I think I've learned is confidence. My confidence has been gained just because we do art critiques with each other. And for someone like you that I've been following these years to say, sure, your art looks really good. Now here's how it can get better. Like, that's such a confidence boost. Like, okay, it's not just therapy on a canvas. It is, but it can be even better. It can be fine art. And so I think that is huge. And for me, mindset.
Yeah,
we
mindset.
Learn so much.
Yes.
We learn so much because you can't lose. You cannot lose if you have the right mindset. It's like that book that we read together. Lima. What was that book? Worthy.
Yes, Worthy.
That we read together. And that rejection can be protection. Like, yes! Like, God, He did not want me down that road. He did not want me to have that opportunity because they are not ready for me. Or they're not going to help me.
What was it, Cheri? It's like he hid, or she hid our value because they are not part of our destiny.
Yes, that is so huge because it's not negative anymore.
No.
It's just all momentum. It's like, okay, I got rejected from that. That's okay because there's something else waiting for me. And you just never know. I mean, I just got a commission last week that just came out. Like, someone texted me like, will you paint a commission? Blah, blah. And I thought, I'm not out there pounding the pavement like, get my commissions, like, buy me. I'm not. I'm just sharing myself and learning, and opportunities just are coming. And so
it's beautiful. And I think so. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I think so often when we talk about, what's the value of a program like this, and we say mindset, so many of us are thinking, well, I can work on my own mindset, and you certainly can, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I know you meditate, you have spiritual practices that are very important to you that also support your mindset. I think the difference when we say mindset with Studio Elite is that there are so many things we're doing that are uncomfortable, like starting an email list. Where do you even start? Yeah. Right? That, and then reaching out to people. You're going to have some good mindset for that.
Yes.
Posting consistently on Instagram and doing it in a way that is effective.
Yes.
Mindset. Applying to anything. Mindset. I'm thinking about Diane R., who, she was just like, okay, I need to reach out to these art consultants. Mindset. Like everything.
Yes.
Everything starts with mindset and the community.
Really and I think I glossed over that. Like, even saying, oh, I have good mindset. I'm a brain injury survivor. I'm a veteran. I have good mindset. But this program took me deeper into whose mindset.
Yes. Yeah.
What mindset am I wanting to operate out of? And that's finding who we are, and that's the honest art.
Exactly.
I mean, every time we do a critique, you're like, it looks like you, but be more honest. Just be more honest. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I am. But
like,
we
damn
get
it.
to be like,
she doesn't know.
You don't know. You don't know me. But because we've spent time, I mean, it's like developing the relationship with your intuition. When you develop a relationship with other artists and let them in to the intimacy of what broke. Because I feel like every artist broke at some point. There's something that broke, and that's what just released this creativity. And so people are like, oh, your paintings are beautiful. I could never do that. And I'm like, yes, you can. Anybody can be creative. But you have to develop that relationship with your intuition, because if it doesn't come from your intuition, then it's just pretty. It's just
exactly
pretty things.
Yeah, so honest art is a great way of saying just listen to your intuition and respond.
Yes.
Have a relationship with your intuition.
And most of the time it does not make any sense.
No. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said that. It usually
I'm like,
doesn't
are
make
you
any
sure?
sense.
But the more you do it, then you get into the flow, which I didn't know what flow was. But man, if you can be in there for 6 hours and not stop, not go to the bathroom, not take a drink of water, and you're just with that canvas having this conversation, there is nothing like it.
There is nothing like it.
Nothing like it. And I would have never thought that would be in my life. I couldn't have ever dreamt it. I wouldn't have wanted to. I thought, oh, that sounds awful. Like,
well, that's why I think your story is so important to hear and so important to share with people, because, I'm sure in your world as in mine, as you mentioned, most people say, I could never, I would never, that's not me. But your story is so profound because you had zero identity as an artist, wasn't part of your world at all. And now the art that you're making is so amazing. The changes that you're making for yourself. And then I know you're also wanting to take this healing that you received in your own art, in your own body, because of art, and eventually wanting to offer that to others. And so your journey as a healer
continues.
It continues. It just looks different.
Instead of a stethoscope, I have a palette knife.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows where this will lead? But in learning now about, there's so much research, like science-based research about neuroplasticity and the relationship that creativity has with neuroplasticity. And the brain is very slow to heal, but it can heal. And you can be in charge of what pathway, like which direction. And so thank God the left side got hit.
So you can have to reach into that right side.
It's a party over there.
Well, thank you for having this discussion with me. And thank you for being so brave to tell your story. Not just your story about your brain injury, but sharing the loss of your father and what a profound experience that was for you. Thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for the art that you're putting in the world. Thank you for continuing to heal us. I get to be I get to be a part of that healing journey, for me, not just the other way. Your work and your presence in the world is healing all
Jodie,
of us.
I can't thank you enough for helping me to be brave and helping me to grow my courage legs, and just for just your generosity of spirit. You truly are. It's a gift, because I know that in and of your humanity, it's not possible what you
Yes.
give into the world. It's not. But because you do take care of yourself and you teach us to take care of ourselves, that's what makes it possible. And so I am eternally grateful for God allowing our paths to cross. And now I'm like, Jodie King's my friend.
She's my friend.
She's my friend.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
text her.
I'm like, Cheri
She
Carandanis
cooked
is
etouffee.
We did have a good time, didn't we? Okay,
Yeah.
Miss Carandanis, how can people find you? What are different ways they might be able to see you, see your art, keep in touch with what's going on with you?
Yeah, I have a website, and that's carandanisfineart.com.
We will put, in case you're wondering how to spell it, we will put the link
Yes.
in the show notes.
Yes. And I'm happy to report I'm very active on Instagram.
Yes, I'm so happy to report that too.
So that's at Carandanis Fine Art, and also Facebook. So yeah, those are the two platforms that I'm on for social media. But lots to come.
Amazing.
I'm excited.
Thank you. Well, any closing thoughts that, for anyone?
Please, if you're not in touch with your intuition, and I know it might sound woo, because it sounded so woo to me at one point in my life, but we all have that. And I believe it's divinely inspired. It's outside of us. And so lean into that, and it will not only heal you physically, but on every level of your existence, spiritually, mentally, psychologically, physically. It's a part of that healing energy. And it's just there. It's there. So lean into it, learn about it, spend some time with it, even if it's 5 minutes. Learn about the energy that we're around, because this world is beautiful with all the things that are going on that are so hard to understand. And if we can just see the good and look for the beauty in the world, we'll be okay.
More of that.
We'll be okay. Yes.
Well, Cheri Carandanis, ladies and gentlemen, artist and continued healer. Thank you for being here.
I love
Please
you.
check her out. Go follow her, support her, DM her, letting her know that you heard the story. And until next time, you guys keep painting, keep listening to your intuition, keep going, and peace out. Big announcement around here. I am announcing my final 2 workshops of 2025. One is in Santa Fe, New Mexico in July, and the other is here in Austin, Texas in October. And I know taking a workshop can feel vulnerable, it can feel scary, but it is truly the fastest way to level up your art. Plus, we just have a ball. So whether you are a beginner or you are a seasoned artist, this workshop will transform your art and leave you feeling like such a badass, knowing that you've got the skills to not only make honest art, but fine art. So one word of caution, if you're interested in joining me, and I hope you will, know that every workshop I have offered in the last 5 years has sold out within days. So I would love to paint with you, and if you'd like to learn more, head to the link in the show notes.